This isn't where it started, but it's where it was finally understood. Chapter 1. Flame. The diner has not changed in 20 years. The same Venetian blinds slice the late afternoon into amber bars. The same ceiling fan turns too slowly to cool anything, too steadily to ignore. The same laminate tabletops hold the same rings from the same coffee cups, as if time here does not pass, but simply accumulates, layer on layer, like lacquer. Mara sits with both hands wrapped around her mug. It has gone cold. She knows this and does not move. Across the table, Daniel is talking. She can see his mouth moving. Something about a funding application, something about the library's heating system, something about the weekend. And she is nodding at the right intervals, which is a skill she has refined so completely that it no longer requires her attention. They have been together 9 years. She knows the shape of his sentences, even when she is not inside them. She watches his hands instead. He has good hands. She fell in love with his hands before she fell in love with the rest of him. The way he held a book, the way he touched the spine before opening it, carefully, as though it might be frightened. She is thinking about this, about the version of herself who noticed that, who was the kind of person who noticed things like that, when the door opens. She does not look up immediately, but the room does something, some imperceptible recalibration, like a compass needle swinging. The two men at the counter stop their conversation mid-sentence. The woman behind the till looks up from her phone. Even the ceiling fan seems to pause. Mara looks up. The woman in the doorway is not doing anything. She is simply asking about a takeaway order, turning to read the chalkboard menu, tucking a strand of auburn hair behind her ear. She is wearing an ordinary coat. She is, in every measurable way, just a woman who has come in from the cold. But the cold seems to have followed her inside and rearranged itself into warmth. Mara watches the room watch her, and then, because she cannot help it, because something in her already knows, she looks at Daniel. He is looking at the woman, not with the idle, involuntary attention that any person draws in a small room, with something else, something interior, something that does not know it is being observed, which is the only way you ever see it clearly. The face a person makes when they believe no one is watching them feels something. Mara has not seen that expression on Daniel's face in a very long time. She looks back at her coffee. She picks it up. She drinks it cold. Outside, the sky has closed to a pale grey ceiling. They walk home along the high street, Daniel close beside her, their shoulders occasionally touching, the ordinary geography of a couple in motion. He tells her about the woman, casually, with the deliberate casualness of something that has been practiced. Jolene. He says the name the way you say a word you have been carrying in your mouth all day. She's new at the library, started a few weeks ago. She's been really helpful with the cataloguing backlog, actually. A few weeks ago. Mara nods. She does the arithmetic quietly, privately, counting back through the weeks, locating the small changes she had noticed and not examined. The later evenings, the way he had begun very slightly to dress better, the way the silence between them had shifted in quality, from the comfortable silence of two people who need not perform, to a different kind, the silence of a person who has somewhere else, inside themselves, to be. She sounds nice, Mara says. She is, Daniel says, and smiles at the middle distance. That night she cannot sleep. The bedroom is dark, and Daniel is beside her, his breathing slow and even, peaceful in the way of people whose consciences have, for now, reached some private accommodation. Mara lies on her back and stares at the ceiling and thinks about the expression on his face in the diner, and how long it has been since his face made any expression like that when he looked at her. She gets up. She goes to the kitchen because it is something to do. His phone is on the counter. The screen is lit. She stands over it. The notification preview is visible for 3 seconds before the screen goes dark. Long enough to see that it is a message, not long enough to read it. She reaches out. Her hand hovers over the phone, the way a hand hovers over something hot, close enough to feel the heat, not quite touching. She does not read it. She lets its light slowly fade out. She stands in the dark kitchen for a long time, her arms wrapped around herself, and through the window the street lamp outside is throwing its light onto the wet pavement, and the light is the colour of auburn hair, and she stares at it until her eyes ache. Chapter 2. The Mirror. The library is on the corner of Church Street and the lane that leads to the park. A Victorian civic building that the council has never quite found the money to renovate or the will to close. It smells of cold radiators and old paper, and something else underneath, something organic and permanent, the smell of accumulated time. Mara has not been inside it in years. She tells herself she is here for research. She is, in a limited technical sense, researching something. She has picked a topic, local history, which feels sufficiently obscure to be plausible. But the research is not why she is here, and she knows this. She knows this in the same way she knew, drinking cold coffee yesterday, what she had seen on Daniel's face. She sits at one of the long reading tables and opens a book and does not read it. She watches. Jolene is at the far end of the room, Shelving Returns from a trolley. She works quickly, with the focused efficiency of someone who knows exactly where everything belongs. She hums something under her breath. Not a recognizable melody, just sound. The private sound of a person who does not know they are being observed. Up close she is. Mara searches for the word and cannot find one that does not feel like a concession. Vivid, perhaps, like a painting that uses too much colour in a gallery of watercolours. Not garish, but simply more saturated than everything around it. She moves through the quiet room as though she has her own weather system. Mara looks down at her book. The indexing system, Jolene says, appearing at her elbow without fanfare, is genuinely terrible. You need the supplementary catalogue for anything before 1960. Can I show you? She does not wait for an answer. Pulls the supplementary catalogue from the shelf behind them, opens it to the right section with the ease of someone who has done this many times, Her hands move across the pages confidently. "There," she says. Older local records are referenced under land use, not history. I know. I spent 2 weeks making the same mistake. She smiles. It is a direct smile, not performed, not deployed strategically, simply the natural result of finding something mildly funny. Mara, who came here to observe an adversary, says, "Thank you." And then, because Jolene begins asking what she is researching, with what appears to be genuine curiosity, the kind that leans in and listens, Mara finds herself talking about the local history she invented 20 minutes ago, and then, somehow, about the town, about having grown up here, about the way small places hold memory differently than large ones, in the body of their buildings, in the habits of their people. Jolene listens. She asks questions. She has a theory about institutional memory, about how libraries don't just preserve the past, but actively shape what the past is allowed to mean. And it is an interesting theory, and Mara knows it is interesting because she feels the old part of herself, the part that used to have opinions about things, lean forward toward it. Jolene gets up and walks to the shelves opposite, searching for something that Mara might like. Mara is laughing at something Jolene has said about a Victorian photograph she found of the town council, when the door of the library opens. The laugh stops. Daniel stands in the doorway. She watches him the way she watched him in the diner, with the particular attention of someone who has spent years learning to read the text beneath the text. His face moves through 3 things very quickly. Surprise. His eyes register Mara and go still for a half second. Guilt. Something passes across his features, fast and dark, like a cloud shadow. Recovery. The smile assembles itself. He crosses the room. "Mara!" A kiss on the forehead, warm and ordinary. "I didn't know you were coming in here." "I didn't know either," she says, which is almost true. He turns to Jolene. Something in his posture opens. A loosening, a realignment, like a plant turning toward light without being aware of turning. "Ready?" he says. And his voice, saying that single word to her, is lighter than Mara has heard it in months. "Ready," Jolene says, and moves towards him. They walk to the door together, not touching, maintaining the careful geometry of people who are being watched. At the door, Daniel looks back. He says something about dinner, about what time he'll be home. Logistical, domestic, deliberately ordinary. Mara nods. The door closes. Mara sits very still in the amber light of the library and breathes. She looks down at the book she has not been reading. It has fallen open, in the way that old books fall open to the pages most frequently visited, to a section of photographs. Black and white, clearly decades old, women standing on the steps of the diner where Mara sat yesterday, where she watched Daniel's face change. The caption reads, "Women's Institute Annual Meeting, 1961. In the back row, on the steps of the diner, a woman stands slightly apart from the group. Her hair is loose, unusual in that context, in that era, and she is looking not at the camera, but at something to the left of it, with an expression Mara cannot quite name. She looks like Jolene. She looks like someone waiting for something that may not come. Mara closes the book. She takes a piece of paper from her bag. Without deciding to, she writes, "I need to talk to you." She folds it once. She puts it in her pocket. She does not know what she is going to do with it, only that writing it has sealed something, some decision that was already forming beneath her awareness, the way water finds its level invisibly before it spills. She picks up her bag. She leaves the library. Outside, the afternoon has turned to the blue-grey of early evening, and somewhere ahead of her, down the lane toward the park, she can hear Daniel's voice and then Jolene's laugh. Easy, unguarded. The laugh of a person who does not yet know they are about to become someone's crisis. Mara turns and walks the other way. Chapter 3. Supplicant. She finds the address through the library staff directory Daniel kept at home, which she does not allow herself to feel ashamed about accessing. She stands opposite the building for 4 minutes before crossing the street. Jolene's flat is on the 2nd floor. The door is painted dark green, which Mara notices and files away alongside all the other details she has been collecting without meaning to. The way Jolene's hands move when she talks. The way she tilts her head when she is listening. The way she laughs. Details that feel like intelligence gathering, and also feel, uncomfortably, like the beginning of understanding someone. She exhales. A faint curl of breath plumes in the cold air. She knocks. The door opens and Jolene is there, wearing the same clothes she wore to work, her auburn locks aflame in the streetlight. And she looks at Mara for a long moment with an expression that is not surprise. "I wondered when you'd come," she says. And every sentence Mara had prepared, and she had prepared many, layered and sequenced and carefully drained of obvious desperation, dissolves. What is left is just her, standing in a doorway, without armor. "Can I come in?" The flat is small and warm and full of the evidence of a life assembled piece by piece, with care, without money. Plants on every windowsill, most of them thriving. Mismatched cups on a wooden table in the corner. Books everywhere, stacked horizontally on top of books shelved vertically. Spines facing every direction. A system that is no system. A library that has given up pretending to be organized and simply exists. A single lamp throws a circle of warm light. It does not look like the home of a woman who destroys things. They sit at a low table. Jolene puts a cup of tea in front of Mara without asking whether she wants one, which is either presumptuous or perceptive, and Mara is not in a position to decide which. She looks at the table. She begins. "I love him." The first sentence, plain and declarative, stripped of preamble. I know that doesn't mean anything to you. I know you don't owe me anything. I'm not here to threaten you or... I have no leverage, I know that. I'm just asking you to hear me. Jolene is very still. Her hands are clasped above her cup. She is watching Mara with an attention that is, improbably, kind. I've built my whole life inside this relationship. Mara hears how that sounds and pushes past it, because it sounds like weakness, and it is, and she has come too far to dress it up now. I know that's not... I know you're probably thinking that's my problem, that no one should do that. And you're right. You're probably right. But I did. And I'm asking you, not as a threat, not as an ultimatum. I'm just asking you, as one person to another, to step back, to choose not to have mercy on me. She stops. Her voice has not broken. She is aware of this as an achievement. The silence in the flat is very complete. Jolene does not answer immediately. She looks at the table between them. She seems to be considering something. Not the request, Mara senses, but the question of how much honesty she owes a woman she barely knows who has come to her door to beg. She decides. Has Daniel asked you to do this? The question lands quietly, without malice, which makes it worse. No, Mara says. The silence that follows is different from the one before it. This silence has a shape. It is the shape of the answer that Mara already knew and has not allowed herself to know. The answer that shifts the entire architecture of the story she has been telling herself. The story in which Jolene is the agent, the danger, the thing that acted upon a passive and blameless situation. Jolene has not engineered this. Whatever is happening between her and Daniel has not happened to Mara from outside. It has grown in a space that was already there. A space that Mara made, or allowed, or simply failed to close. She feels the floor tilt. She grips her tea. Jolene stands. She goes to the window. The city outside is fully dark now, its lights scattered and ordinary, and she stands with her back to the room and her arms folded, and she is quiet for a long moment. I think, she says finally to the window, you should go home. A pause. And I think you know who you need to talk to. She does not say, I'll leave him alone. She does not say, don't worry, it's not what you think. She does not offer the mercy Mara came here to collect. She offers something that is not mercy and is arguably more valuable and is certainly less comfortable. A direction. Mara stands. She crosses the flat and reaches the door, and she pauses there, her hand on the door, because she wants to say something that acknowledges what has just happened here. Two women at a table, one of them asking, and one of them refusing to lie. But she does not have the words for it, and perhaps there are none. She leaves. Outside, the night is cold, and exactly as ordinary as it always is. Which is strange, because she feels that it should have changed, that the air should be different, that the street should know. She stands on the pavement and takes out her phone, and Daniel's name is there, as it always is, at the top of the list. Her thumb rests on it. She does not press it. Not yet. Chapter 4. The Name. He is home when she gets there. She can see the light through the kitchen window from the street, the warm domestic rectangle of it, the same light that has meant home to her for 9 years. And she stands outside for a moment and lets herself feel that fully before she goes in. Whatever is about to happen, she wants to have felt that first. He is sitting at the kitchen table when she opens the door, hands in front of him as if to receive. He looks up at her, and his face does that thing she knows. That small preparation, that micro-tensing, as though Mara is a weather system he has learned to read and brace against. She used to be, she realizes, the person he braced toward, the person he opened toward. She sits at the table. He gives her the tea he made. The kitchen is very quiet. She looks at him, at the actual man, not the man she needs him to be, not the man she has been defending in her own mind by distributing his guilt elsewhere. Just the person across the table, familiar as her own reflection, and tonight, almost as strange. "Tell me," she says. "That is all. Tell me." He tells her. Not everything, and not nothing. Enough. He tells her in the careful, exhausted way of a person who has been carrying something and is putting it down because the weight has become its own kind of infidelity. The keeping of it, the private management of it, the way it has made her a stranger in the story of his own life. He has not slept with Jolene. He says this, and she believes him, and also understands that this particular fact is, at this point, somewhat beside the point. He wants to, or he wants something that Jolene represents. Not her specifically, perhaps, but what she has made him feel, which is young, in the way you are young when the future is still undecided. He has been feeling, he says, very decided, for a long time, very settled, very certain, very... And he stops himself here because he is not cruel, but they both hear the word he didn't say. "Small," Mara says. "You've been feeling small." He looks at her. There is something in his face that is close to relief, which enrages her, and also breaks her heart. Because she is still, even now, the person who understands him best. She says his name, not Jolene's, his. Daniel. Just that. His name in the present tense, without a question attached to it, without a plea. She has been saying the wrong name for weeks. Jolene, Jolene, Jolene. As though the problem had auburn hair and a direct smile. As though the problem had ever been located outside this kitchen, outside this table, outside the two people sitting at it who have been, for too long, performing intimacy in the place where intimacy used to live. He says he loves her. He says it with his whole face, with an authenticity that makes it impossible to doubt. And she receives it, and holds it, and turns it over and understands, with a clarity that feels like cold water, that it is true, and that it is not enough. She stands. She picks up her keys from the counter, a slow, deliberate gesture, no theatre in it, just the act itself. "I'm going to walk," she says. "I need to walk." He does not ask for how long. He does not ask if she is coming back. These are questions for later, for the long and difficult work of later, and both of them know it. She puts her teacup by the sink. She picks up her phone. She goes to the door. Mara. She stops, but does not turn. "I'm sorry." She stands with her hand on the door, in the same position she stood in at Jolene's door, she realizes, and almost laughs, but does not. She nods once. and she goes out. The street receives her without ceremony. She walks, past the end of their road, past the park gate, past the lane where she heard Daniel's voice and Jolene's laugh what feels like a year ago, and was this afternoon. Past the library, its Victorian face blank and dark at this hour, holding all its accumulated time quietly inside itself. Past the diner, closed now, the Venetian blinds drawn, the amber light switched off behind them. She passes the street lamp outside Jolene's flat. It throws its light the same way it always did. The same pool of amber on the wet pavement, the same halo of warmth in the cold dark. But she remembers standing with Jolene at the door and how it shone onto her hair. She walks through it. She does not look back. The light falls on her for a moment, auburn, warm, the colour of something ending. And then she has passed through it, and it is behind her, and the pavement ahead is darker and her own, and she keeps walking. Her hands are at her sides. They are not reaching for a phone. They are not hovering over something they are afraid to touch. They are not folded in supplication across a table from a woman who owed her nothing, and gave her, anyway, the only useful thing anyone gave her in all of this, the direction to go. They are simply her hands, belonging to her. The sound of her footsteps in the empty street, steady, unhurried, continuing. And then, nothing. The dark. The ordinary dark.